morning, good evening, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you might be doing. We wish to welcome you to the Silverlight Show. The Silverlight shines to illuminate that which lies hidden in darkness. For those of you tuning in today, we welcome you in. You know, one of the things I see a lot online and in person is people blaming the government. There's a lot of things you can blame on the government. There's a lot of controversial legislation, things that are making rulings on controversial issues, things that cause a lot of ruckus, and I'm totally okay with that. But I hate to tell you this, the government does not control the economy the way you think it does. First of all, we have to understand politicians are paid off by lobbyists. A lobbyist is a person who says, hey, Senator Lichman Singh, if you support the bill on, what's the least controversial bill I could talk about? That's a problem. The bill to increase funding for disabled people, our organization is going to make sure that you have an extra, whatever the maximum donation is, let's just say $50,000, you're going to have an extra $50,000. So Lichman Singh says, I can use that 50,000, and disabled rights is something that will always be attractive to anybody who has a slight bit of a heart left in their chest. So it's something I can use in my debates and stuff like that. Yeah, sure, I'll sign on to that. The same is unfortunately also true with companies that manufacture tobacco, companies that manufacture cigarettes, companies that manufacture soup. All these companies and all these politicians, the companies got the money, the politicians need the money. It's actually written into your contract when you become a politician that you must raise X amount of dollars in order to continue being a politician representing whatever it is for that party. And since party politics is pretty much the game of the year, that's what you got to do in order to get anywhere. And there's no politician out there that wouldn't love one day to be sitting in the chair of the prime minister or the president or whatever it might be. So, yeah, they might have to make some moral compromises here and there. But if it means that they're getting paid off to support a certain position, that's unfortunately the name of the game. Now, this might sound like it would make for a crooked system. And in a lot of ways it does. It does favor the rich. It favors the oligarchies. It favors the globalist, criminal superpowers that all they want to do is have their own interests forward. It's kind of the same as anywhere, though. And while a government can pass a law that enables them to make more money, which has been the case since trickle-down economics started, supply-side economics as they're sometimes known, but it goes a lot further into the past. Basically, it's an important part of democracy. There's two incidents I'm going to bring up where the government did the right thing and other people screwed it up. Way back when dinosaurs roamed the earth and Silverlight was just a twinkle in the eye of what he would become. In university, one of the years, well, actually, the year before, they had started protesting the government, and they got all the students up. They'd go down in a big crowd, waving their signs, shouting their slogans, looking like they had stepped out of the 1960s, that kind of a deal. And the year I'm talking about, which I believe was 95 or 96, the government had increased their funding for education. And this was a conservative government. So they increased some money that was going towards students. But our tuition went up anyway. Do you know why? Because The government funds education, but education has a lot more projects than just babysitting students. Education is they have to do their research, they have to do the development, they have to get grants, they have to get sponsors, they have to get people that are donating money. So education is kind of the last of their responsibilities. Universities and colleges are supposed to be places where higher ideas are developed, technologies prototyped, etc., and then they sell the rights to that research to the company that's interested in it. Cute system, isn't it? They get money from a developer, and then they sell the technology back to the developer, and it's all one cycle of money. And the students foot the bill. So the board of governors of the university that I went to decided we're getting more money from the government. Let's raise tuition as well because we can do it this year, and people aren't going to scream as much when we give them a break next year or the year after that, whatever. They took advantage of the situation. So was it the government's fault? No, the government supplied more money. It was the board of directors of the university. And I'm sure you can find more examples. I'm just telling you my own personal experience. During the pandemic, and I've mentioned this ad nauseum, but it's an example that never leaves my mind. And this company is not the only one who did this stuff. There's a major soup canning company out of, I think it's North Carolina or South Carolina, forget what it was. And during the pandemic, remember that lovely little restriction they put on truck drivers that they could only bring food or essential items in or out across the border and moving around? That was the deal. Well, this unnamed soup company in North Carolina or South Carolina, one of the Carolinas, before this they were paying decent rates. I think, don't quote me on this, I think it was about $2,500 to come to the Toronto area. That's not bad. You can make money off of that. But the second the government said transport companies can only transport food, essential items, etc., no. That company dropped that rate. I don't remember exactly what it was. I think it's 1,300. They literally dropped their transportation rates in half. So the transportation company's got a choice. You can either subsidize your truck coming back, you can pick up a load and just swallow the loss on it, or find something else. The company I work for found something else. But it wasn't easy, I promise you that. And why did the company change their rates? Was it so that the farmers who were very hard pressed could get a couple extra dollars in their pocket? No. Did you get a break on this particular brand of soup in the market? No. What did the government have to do with it? Well, they passed that legislation, which they had to, but realistically, they didn't say, and also, if you own a multi-billion dollar globalist corporation, please raise your rates and screw the truckers because no one's going to notice. It's a pandemic. The government does so many things, and it feels like they're everywhere in our life. Driver's license, government. Health issues, government. And yeah, health issues in government, it's frustrating, I get it. But at the same token, I always console myself by saying somebody is out there getting dialysis or their grandmother's getting cancer treatment, whatever it is. And if I have to wait for that, somebody is getting a few extra days, months, or even years with their significant other. And I'm okay with that. It's a dance that the government cannot win. If they say laissez-faire, I don't even give a care, then they're perceived as a very stingy government. And what are they doing with all that money anyway? If they give money to all these causes, then it's like, these liberals, usually liberals are categories, they'll give money to anybody. And Why is that homeless guy getting food every day and I have to work for my food? The government is in a literal can't win situation. It's unfair. And I'm not saying here be sympathetic to the, well, I am saying be sympathetic to the government. Don't be blind. See the whole picture. There's not much the President of the United States of America can do to McDonald's. McDonald's is worldwide. If they want to make, what's a Big Mac now? Let's just say they want to make a Big Mac $20. Government can't really do much because if they legislate you can't charge more than $10 for a Big Mac, government is being communist and controlling prices and everything. People freak out. Whereas they leave it alone, people say, I can't afford food. It's not the government we need to worry about. It's greedy, profit-taking capitalists. And they're not going anywhere. Admittedly, there are a whole lot of companies out there that do good. There were a lot of companies during the pandemic that were fighting hard for their workers and customers to have reasonable rates, buying in bulk, buying when stuff was cheap and stockpiling it. I don't mean the toilet paper stockpiling thing. I mean all the other things that you could get. But a lot were being flat out greedy. Remember people went on that renovation frenzy when everybody was watching Home and Garden TV or whatever, and they started running out of actual finished plywood and 2x4s and stuff like that. That problem solved itself in a matter of weeks. They started bringing in more boards, they hired more employees, and they had a surplus of lumber because they were producing so much. It flooded the market. When did lumber come down in price? I have an answer. It didn't, because I was looking at it recently for a project. I'm like, geez, nobody got a break on this price, did they? And you know what? We didn't. What did the government have to do with that? Nothing. The government, there's a treaty between Canada and the United States over softwood lumber, which is basically what they turn into 2x4s, plywood, all those kinds of things. But that just limits the amount that goes north and south so that Canada, that has a huge amount of trees, doesn't put the United States businesses out of business. That's it. It's been there forever. Nothing has changed. But people want to blame the government still. It's unfair. There's treaties, and then there's businesses. Businesses are there to make a profit, with maybe the exceptions of like of Goodwill and Salvation Army and stuff like that. They have other objectives. But if you opened a business, let's just say you open a hot dog stand, because I love the idea of a hot dog stand. You open a business, what's your purpose? To make money. Maybe you have to hire employees to do that. Maybe you have to expand to do that, but you're still there to make money. And the globalist corporations, they're in the same boat. They're there to make money, and they don't care how that money gets made. So remember that. Don't blame a conspiracy on what can be explained by raw selfishness, because 9 times out of 10, it's not the conspiracy. It's pure and utter selfish motives. If I gave you the chance to take $100,000 consequence free, would you do it? Of course you would. Consequence free. No one's getting hurt, so this is the magic million. No one's getting hurt, no one's doing anything. Of course you would take it. And corporations have so many ways to make money through stocks and bonds and raising prices by 1 penny, which you won't feel, but at the same time it's going to make them money. They're going to do that because that's their reason for existing. Remember that. Corporations are there for money. The government does deal in money, but it's not their primary reason. Corporations, it's all they're there for. With that, we hope you enjoyed this episode of the Silverlight Show. If you did, please like, share, because sharing is caring. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Um, Click the notification button however you see it, and that way you can get notified whenever we release a new episode. We hope you have a fantastic day.